Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're going to be diving into AI-powered strategic models. We got this excerpt here. Modelos estratégicos impulsados por inteligencia artificial. And wow, this is going to be really interesting. It seems like this AI stuff is changing the game for businesses both big and small. We're going to try to break it down today and figure out just how this AI is becoming, kind of a secret weapon for companies that want to stay ahead of the curve. So we've got some questions about it. Like, what are these AI models really all about? And how are companies using them right now? Like in the real world, how is this stuff actually happening? And what does it all mean for the future of business? Like, what does this mean for maybe even our jobs? When I first heard about AI making strategic decisions, I thought it was something out of a sci-fi movie. But it's actually happening right now, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. These AI-driven strategic models are already making, big changes across a lot of industries. What's really interesting is that they're not really like replacing human strategists. It's more like they're acting as like a really powerful tool that can actually enhance what humans can do.
Oh, okay. So it's less like robots are taking over and more like, okay, now humans have superpowers. I like that. But how do these models actually work? Like what's the secret sauce?
Well, the key is really in the combination of three main parts: data, algorithms, and then the technology infrastructure. You can almost think of it like a race car, like a really high performance race car. So the data would be like the fuel, right?
Mm.
And then the algorithms would be the engine. And
Yeah.
then the tech infrastructure would be like the finely tuned chassis that holds it all together.
Okay. So the data is like the raw material,
Yeah.
like the fuel that powers the whole system.
Exactly. And these models, they really thrive on data. They can take in just massive amounts of information about, things like markets, customer behavior, even a company's internal operations. I mean, you name it, they can use it.
Oh, that makes sense. But just having, tons and tons of data isn't enough, right?
Yeah.
You need something to actually make sense of it all.
Yeah,
That's where the algorithms come in, right?
exactly. Algorithms are basically like sets of rules and instructions, and they guide the AI's learning process and how it makes decisions. They allow the AI to like sift through all that data, identify patterns, and pull out those, meaningful insights that humans might miss.
It's almost like having a superpowered analyst,
Yeah.
one that can just process information super fast. But it's not just about speed, right? These algorithms are like getting smarter and more sophisticated all the time.
Yeah, for sure. And one area that's really, interesting is what's called adaptive algorithms. And these algorithms can actually change and modify themselves based on new data and feedback. So they're constantly learning and refining their strategies. It's almost like a chess grandmaster who gets better every time they play a match.
Wow, that's incredible. So it's not just about analyzing, data from the past, but it's also about predicting future trends and then even adapting to changing circumstances.
Exactly. And that ability to learn and adapt is what makes these AI-driven strategic models so powerful. And it can help companies stay ahead of the curve in a world that's, constantly changing. But there is one more piece to the puzzle that we need to consider, and that's the technology infrastructure.
Yeah, I imagine these AI models probably need a lot of computing power to handle, crunching all that data.
Oh, yeah, they definitely do. And the tech infrastructure is really like the backbone of the entire system. It includes things like the hardware, the software, and all the networks that are necessary to store, process, and analyze, those huge data sets.
So we're talking about like powerful servers, cloud computing, and specialized software designed for AI.
Exactly. That tech infrastructure needs to be, robust and scalable to support all those, ever-growing demands of AI models.
Okay, so we've got the data as the fuel, the algorithms as the engine, and the tech infrastructure as like the framework that holds it all together. But how are companies actually using these models in the real world to like get a leg up on the competition? That's what I'm really curious about.
So let's dive into some actual examples. One area where AI is making a huge impact is optimizing operations. Think about like a manufacturing plant using AI to figure out when a machine might break down. That way they can just schedule maintenance in advance and avoid all that costly downtime.
Wow, that's incredible. It's like having a crystal ball that can see the future of your machines.
Yeah, exactly. Predictive maintenance is just one example, though. Companies are using AI to optimize their supply chains, manage how much inventory they have, even design more efficient production processes.
So AI is helping these companies just streamline their operations and, get the absolute most out of their processes.
Right, and it's not just back-end operations either. AI is also really changing the customer experience.
Yeah, and I've definitely noticed how those personalized recommendations are getting, more and more specific. It's like These websites can read my mind.
That's actually a great example of AI in action. Companies like Amazon and Netflix, they're using AI to personalize those recommendations, tailor their marketing campaigns to each person, and even provide like real-time customer support.
So it's all about creating a more personalized and engaging experience for the customer, which ultimately means, more loyal customers and higher sales.
Exactly. And it's not limited to just e-commerce. Even brick and mortar stores, like physical stores, are using AI to improve the shopping experience by offering personalized promotions and figuring out the best way to lay out their store.
So AI is basically helping businesses get to know their customers better than ever before. And then they use that knowledge to create more, personalized and engaging experiences.
Mm.
But what about strategic planning? I mean, can AI really help companies make smarter decisions at like a higher level?
Absolutely. Data visualization tools like, Tableau and Power BI, those are now incorporating AI. And they can help leaders make sense of complex data, spot trends, and even like simulate different scenarios. It's almost like having a strategic advisor who can look at all this information and give you insights to help you make those big decisions.
Wow, that's really impressive. It sounds like AI is helping companies make more, data-driven decisions and rely less on gut feeling.
Exactly. AI can analyze historical data, identify patterns, and even make predictions about future trends. And all of that provides valuable insights to inform everything from product development to market expansion.
So it's like having this, super-powered research team that can take information from everywhere and, condense it into something that you can actually take action on.
Right. That's a great analogy. But AI's impact goes even further than operations and customer experience. It's also driving innovation in some pretty amazing ways.
Okay, now I'm really intrigued. Tell me more.
Think about Tesla's self-driving cars. They're using AI to learn from every single mile driven, and that's constantly improving the car's self-driving capabilities. I mean, they're really pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Yeah, I mean, Tesla's self-driving tech is pretty mind-blowing. But it's not just about cars, right? AI is driving innovation across all sorts of industries.
Oh, absolutely. In healthcare, for example, AI is being used to develop new drugs, personalized treatment plans, and even assist during surgery. And then in finance, AI is helping banks to detect fraud, assess whether someone's creditworthy, and even manage investments.
It seems like the possibilities are truly endless.
They really are. And what we're seeing now is really just the beginning. As AI technology keeps getting better and better, we're going to see even more and more innovative applications pop up across every part of business and even beyond.
Okay, this is fascinating. It sounds like AI is already making a huge impact on, businesses of all sizes across all these different industries. But I'm curious, what about those specific companies mentioned in that excerpt you sent over, like Netflix, Procter and Gamble, and JP Morgan Chase? And what results are those companies actually seeing from using these AI-powered models?
Well, Netflix is a great example of how AI can really boost customer engagement and keep those customers coming back. They have algorithms that analyze what people are watching, their preferences, and then it personalizes recommendations. And that keeps, those subscribers watching more and more, and it really cuts down on people canceling their subscriptions.
Yeah, those personalized recommendations on Netflix, they definitely get me. I'll start watching one show, and then suddenly I'm hooked on this entire genre I never knew I even liked.
Exactly. And that's the power of that AI-driven personalization. And it's not just about entertainment either. Procter and Gamble, they're the company that makes all those consumer goods. They're using AI to optimize their entire supply chain and their manufacturing processes. And that's actually saving them a lot of money, and it's making them a lot more efficient.
So they're using AI to make sure that, those Tide Pods and Pampers diapers are getting to the stores on time and at the lowest possible cost.
Precisely. And then there's JP Morgan Chase, the huge financial company. They're using AI to analyze legal documents. I mean, that used to take a ton of lawyers to do that. Now they can focus on, the more complex stuff.
Wow, that's really impressive. It sounds like AI isn't just automating those tasks, it's really changing the way people work, even in fields like law.
Absolutely. And these are just a few examples, but I think it really highlights how powerful these AI-driven strategic models are, across a lot of different industries.
Okay, so we've seen some amazing applications of these AI-powered models. But I'm curious, what are the actual benefits for the businesses? And how could this impact, the average person's job?
That's a great question. And one of the biggest benefits is that it makes decision-making more driven by data. So instead of relying on, your gut feeling or your intuition, AI can help businesses make more accurate, objective decisions based on, hard data.
So no more risky business moves based on just a hunch.
Exactly. AI can analyze huge amounts of data, find those patterns, and even predict, potential outcomes. And that gives you valuable insights that can really inform your strategic decisions.
It's almost like having a superpowered research team just, right at your fingertips. Like they're constantly working to uncover, you know, those hidden opportunities and risks.
Right. And that leads to another big benefit, which is operational efficiency. So AI can automate a lot of those, repetitive, mundane tasks, the ones that keep employees busy and bogged down. That frees up their time for, more strategic, creative work.
Are you saying AI could actually make my job more interesting?
It's definitely possible. By automating all those boring tasks, you could actually focus more on those like value-added activities, the ones that need human ingenuity and problem-solving skills.
Oh, I like the sound of that. But isn't there like a concern that AI will just replace people's jobs altogether?
Well, it's true that some jobs might be lost, but I actually think AI will eventually create more jobs than it eliminates. There will be new roles that pop up as companies figure out how to use AI really effectively, and also as they develop these new AI-powered products and services.
So it's not really about AI versus humans. It's more about how AI and humans can work together to achieve, even better outcomes.
Exactly. AI is a tool that can help us do things we never thought possible. It can really boost our capabilities.
Okay, so we've talked about, how AI can help us make better decisions based on data. And we've also talked about how it can make our work more efficient. Are there any other benefits that businesses are seeing from using these AI-driven strategic models?
Another really important benefit is agility and adaptability. The business world is changing so fast these days, and AI can really help companies keep up with all those changes. These models can analyze data in real time, spot trends as they're happening, and help businesses, change direction quickly to stay ahead of the curve.
It's like having a superpowered early warning system for your business.
Exactly. AI can help you see changes in demand, before they happen. They can help you spot new competitors that are coming up and even predict like potential problems that could disrupt your business. And this lets you, adapt and change your plans before it's too late.
This is incredible. It sounds like AI is giving businesses a real advantage in today's world, which is, so fast-paced and constantly changing.
They definitely are. And lastly, we can't forget about innovation. AI is what's driving all these new ideas, new products, and new ways of, tackling problems. It's pushing the boundaries of what we can do, and it's really exciting.
Okay, so we've seen some really amazing applications of these AI-powered models, and we've explored, all these incredible benefits they offer to businesses. But I'm guessing there are also some challenges, right? I mean, putting something like this into practice, something this advanced, can't be easy.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. There are some potential, pitfalls to watch out for. One of the biggest challenges is making sure the data is actually good. AI models are only as good as the information they're given. So if the data is inaccurate, incomplete, or biased, then the output of the model is going to be messed up.
It's like baking a cake, right? If you're using bad ingredients, you're not going to end up with a delicious cake no matter how good your recipe is.
That's a perfect analogy. High quality data is the foundation of any successful AI-driven strategic model.
Okay, data quality. Got it. So what other challenges should businesses be thinking about when they're trying to implement these AI models?
Another challenge is having the right tech infrastructure. These AI models need a lot of computing power. So companies need to invest in hardware, software, and the right people to make it all work.
Sounds like a pretty big investment.
It can be, yeah. But the return on that investment can be pretty significant too. The right technology setup can allow businesses to really use AI to its full potential, and that can give them a huge competitive advantage.
So it's an investment that can really pay off big time if you do it right.
What about, the people? I've heard that there's not enough people who actually know how to do this stuff, like skilled AI professionals.
Yeah, that's a real concern. The demand for AI talent is much higher than the number of people who are qualified to do those jobs. So that makes it tough for companies to find and keep those skilled data scientists, AI engineers, and other specialists.
So it's a really competitive market out there for AI talent. What can companies actually do to, get these skilled workers to come work for them and stay with them? Well, companies need to offer good salaries, create a culture where people feel like they can be innovative and learn new things, and they need to provide, opportunities for those employees to actually improve their skills.
So creating a work environment that's supportive and, actually stimulates people to learn and grow, that's really key to getting and keeping those really good AI people.
Okay, we've talked about the data, the technology, and the talent. Is there anything else that businesses need to be aware of?
One last thing, and it's really important, is the need to constantly monitor and evaluate those AI models. They aren't, static. They're constantly changing. They need to be watched and adjusted to make sure they're performing like they're supposed to and that they're adapting to new situations.
So it's not a set it and forget it type of thing. You
Right.
constantly need to be paying attention and making adjustments.
Exactly. Companies need to set really clear goals for how they're going to evaluate whether their AI models are working. And they need to have processes in place to make changes when they need to. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground today. We've talked about, the nuts and bolts of how these AI models work. We've talked about how companies are actually using them. And we've talked about both the benefits and the challenges. But let's take a look at what the future holds. What's next for this, game-changing technology? What are the trends we need to be watching out for?
And that's where things get really interesting. The future of AI-driven strategic models is all about pushing the limits of what's possible. And one major trend is what's called generative AI. We're talking about models like GPT. And these models can actually generate entire strategic plans based on the information you feed them.
Wait, hold on. Are you telling me that an AI could write a better business strategy than, like, a human CEO?
It's definitely a possibility. Generative AI is incredibly powerful and it's only going to get stronger, but CEOs don't need to worry about being replaced just yet. The future is more about how humans and AI can collaborate and work together.
So it's not about replacing humans, it's about AI becoming like a partner in strategy.
Exactly. Just imagine having an AI assistant that's in your meetings with you. It's analyzing data in real time and helping your team make the best decisions. That's where collaborative AI is headed.
Now, that would be a dream team. What else is coming up on the horizon?
Another big trend is what's called mass personalization. AI is allowing companies to tailor just about everything to each person's specific needs. I'm talking about things like products, employee training, you name it. Imagine getting a workout routine that's made just for you by AI based on your energy levels and your goals for that day.
Okay, that would be amazing. I want that.
And then there's something called advanced automation. AI is on track to manage really complex operations, things like, global supply chains. And it's going to do this in a way that's way more efficient and resilient than we can even imagine right now.
So you're saying AI could actually predict like disruptions in those supply chains and respond to them instantly. That would make businesses so much stronger.
Exactly. But as we keep pushing the boundaries of AI, we need to be really careful about making sure that this technology is developed and used in a responsible way.
It's not just about, how cool and advanced the technology is. It's also about making sure it's used ethically and that it benefits everyone, not just a select few.
Exactly. The future of AI-driven strategic models is full of incredible possibilities, but we need to approach it thoughtfully and make sure we're using it for the right reasons.
This has been incredible. It sounds like AI is going to play a huge part in, not just the business world, but our entire society.
It absolutely will. And that brings up another really fascinating aspect, the potential for AI to be used in times of crisis.
Okay, you've got my attention. What do you mean?
Imagine something like a natural disaster or, a pandemic that affects the whole world. AI could be used to manage these emergencies, by simulating different scenarios, figuring out the best way to allocate resources, and even predicting how the crisis might unfold.
So AI could help us respond more effectively to these kinds of crises and maybe even save lives and reduce the damage.
That's the idea. It's a powerful tool that could really make a difference in those really tough situations.
This is mind-blowing. We're talking about AI possibly changing the way we deal with emergencies and how we keep people safe.
It's definitely a fascinating area with, huge potential.
Okay, we've covered a lot today, from the basics of these AI-driven strategic models to their incredible potential and even some of the challenges along the way. But before we finish up this part of our deep dive, I want to kind of switch gears for a minute and take a closer look at the core components, the things that make these models work.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I think if people really understand the building blocks of these models, it can really help them understand how powerful and important they are.
Okay, so let's unpack these core components one by one. And first up is data. Have you ever heard that saying, data is the new oil? I mean, is that actually true when it comes to AI?
That's a great analogy, actually. Just like oil powers our cars and our industries, data fuels the AI engine. It's what those AI algorithms need to learn, to change, and to make those smart decisions.
So it's not just about, like, Having a lot of data, it's about having the right kind of data too, right?
Exactly. The quality of the data is just as important as the quantity. If the data is not accurate, if it's incomplete, or if it's biased, it can actually lead to wrong insights and bad decisions. And that's even if you have the most sophisticated
Yeah.
algorithms. Yeah, it's like if you have a chef, right? They need good ingredients, fresh, high quality ingredients to make something amazing. AI models are kind of the same. They need good data, clean data to give you valuable
That
insights.
makes sense. Okay, so we have our data. That's the fuel for our AI engine. What's the next ingredient in this AI recipe?
Well, algorithms are like the brains of the operation. They're the instructions that tell the AI how to learn and how to make decisions. They take that raw data, just like a chef takes ingredients, and turn it into something really incredible.
So algorithms are what really makes AI tech, huh? What are some of the different kinds of algorithms that are used in these strategic models?
Well, there are tons of different types, and each one has its, strengths and weaknesses. One type that's pretty common is called a supervised learning algorithm. And these learn from what we call labeled data. That's where like the input and the desired output are already known. You can think of it kind of like teaching a student. You give them textbooks and answer keys, and they learn from those.
So they learn from examples and figure out how the input and the output are related.
Exactly. And then there are unsupervised learning algorithms, and those are given data that isn't labeled. So their job is to go in and discover patterns and relationships on their own. It's more like giving a student a research project and letting them explore the data and see what they come up with.
So it's more about exploration and finding those hidden structures in the data.
Exactly. And then there's something called reinforcement learning, where the AI learns by, trying things out and seeing what happens. So it gets rewards for making good decisions and then penalties for making bad decisions. It's almost like training a pet, right?
Yeah.
You use treats and praise to encourage them to do the things you want them to do.
Oh, I get it. So they learn by doing and getting feedback so they can keep improving.
Exactly. And the field of AI algorithms, it's constantly changing. There are always new and innovative approaches being developed.
It's amazing to me how these algorithms are like, mimicking the way that humans learn to make decisions. But let's not forget about, all the hardware and software that makes all of this possible. What role does the technology infrastructure play in this whole AI equation?
Oh, it's super important. We've been talking about data as the fuel, right? And
Yeah.
algorithms as the engine, but you still need a strong and reliable vehicle to make it all work. And that vehicle is the technology infrastructure.
Okay, so we're talking about things like, really powerful computers, special hardware, and these sophisticated software platforms, right?
Exactly. These AI-driven strategic models, they need a lot of computing power to handle all those massive data sets and all the complex calculations. So that often means using these high-performance computing clusters, special hardware like GPUs, and then cloud computing platforms, to make it all scalable and flexible.
So it sounds like, building and maintaining this infrastructure, it's a big job. It's not something you can just do at home, right?
Right. It takes a lot of investment and expertise to get it right, but it's worth it. Because if you have the right tech infrastructure, it lets those AI models work on a really large scale. And that's what delivers those amazing insights and drives those decisions that can change businesses and even, entire industries.
Okay, so we've talked about data, algorithms, and that technology infrastructure.
Yeah.
Anything else we need to add to our AI recipe?
Yes. One super crucial ingredient that we haven't mentioned yet, human expertise.
So humans haven't been completely replaced by robots in this AI revolution?
Not even close. Human expertise is absolutely essential to design, develop, and implement these models effectively. You need those skilled data scientists to prepare and analyze the data. You need AI engineers to actually build those algorithms. And then you need domain experts to make sure that everything is aligned with the company's goals and that the results are being understood and acted on.
So it's not just about the tech itself, it's about the people who build it and the people who use it.
Precisely. The human element is essential. AI might be a really powerful tool, but in the end, it's up to us humans to guide its development and make sure it's being used in a way that benefits us all.
Well, I'm definitely feeling a lot more knowledgeable about how these AI-powered strategic models actually work. Data, algorithms, that tech infrastructure, and human expertise. It's a pretty powerful combination.
It really is. And this combination is what's driving all this innovation in so many sectors,
Yeah.
from business and finance to healthcare and, way beyond.
This deep dive has been incredible. We've covered so much, from the potential benefits and those challenges to the actual components that make these models work. But now I kind of want to know, What's next? Where do we go from here?
That's a fantastic question, and it leads us right into the future of AI.
Okay, I'm ready. Let's explore what the future holds for this incredible technology.
The future of AI is, full of exciting possibilities, but also some challenges. As these AI-driven strategic models keep evolving, they're going to become even more sophisticated, more integrated into our lives, and have a much bigger impact on a global scale.
I'm trying to picture it. What does this AI-powered future actually look like?
Imagine a world where AI isn't just a tool anymore. It's actually a partner. It's working with
Mhm.
us, boosting our abilities, and helping us solve problems that have been, impossible to solve before.
So it's like having AI as a trusted advisor, always there to give me those strategic insights.
Exactly. AI could help us make better decisions in, well, everything, from personalized healthcare advice to making our cities more efficient and sustainable.
AI could help us create a world that's more efficient, more tailored to our needs, and more sustainable. But what about the downsides? I mean, are there any risks that we need to be thinking about as AI gets more powerful and, more a part of our lives?
That's a really important question. Like with any powerful technology, AI comes with both opportunities and challenges. We have to be aware of the potential risks and make sure that AI is developed and used in a way that's responsible.
You mentioned before that AI could even play a big role in managing crises like those natural disasters and pandemics, right? I'd love to hear more about that. It sounds like something out of a science fiction movie.
It does sound futuristic, but it's actually, very possible. Think about it. When there's a crisis, you need to be able to analyze data and make decisions super quickly. And that's where AI comes in. It can process tons of information from all over the place and then identify patterns, and predict potential outcomes way faster than we can.
So it's like having this like super powered analyst that's working 24/7
Yeah.
to help us figure out what's going on and how to respond.
Exactly. So say there's a natural disaster. AI could look at weather patterns, geographic data, even population density, and it could predict which areas are going to be hit the hardest. And then you could use that information to, figure out the best evacuation routes, where to send resources, and even predict what kind of damage the infrastructure might suffer.
Wow, that's incredible. That could seriously save lives and reduce the impact of a disaster.
Absolutely. And think about the COVID-19 pandemic. AI could have tracked how the virus was spreading, found those hotspots early on, and even predicted where new outbreaks might occur. That kind of information would have been invaluable to, healthcare workers and policymakers as they were trying to, stop the virus from spreading and come up with effective strategies.
I remember how overwhelmed the hospitals were at the height of the pandemic. Do you think AI could have actually helped manage that situation better?
It's definitely possible. AI could have helped figure out the best way to allocate hospital beds, predict when there might be shortages of medical supplies, and even come up with personalized treatment plans based on each patient's data.
It's amazing to think that AI could have helped us get through that really challenging time more effectively.
The possibilities are huge. AI could also help us build early warning systems to detect future pandemics. It could analyze how well different interventions are working and even speed up the development of vaccines and treatments.
It sounds like AI could really change the game when it comes to how we deal with future crises, whether it's natural disasters or health emergencies. But with all this talk about the potential of I can't help but think about, the potential downsides.
Yeah.
Are there any risks that we need to be aware of, especially as AI becomes more powerful and, a bigger part of our lives?
That's a great point. It's really important to realize that along with all these incredible opportunities, there are also potential risks with AI. As these AI systems become smarter, we have to be really careful and make sure they're developed and used responsibly and ethically.
So it's not just about like making the most powerful AI possible. It's about making sure it's used for good.
Exactly. We have to be very mindful of any unintended consequences, and we have to work hard to reduce those risks.
What are some of the things that people are concerned about with AI?
One big worry is that AI could lead to people losing their jobs. As AI gets better at automating tasks, there's this concern that lots of people could be out of work.
Yeah, that's a valid concern. What can we do to address that?
It's really important to focus on retraining and upskilling the workforce. We need to give people the skills they're going to need to succeed in a world where AI is, a big part of how we work. We also need policies that support workers who are, displaced by automation. Things like providing financial support or helping them get trained for new jobs.
So it's about adapting to this new world of work and making sure that people have the skills and the support they need to succeed in an economy where AI plays such a big role.
Exactly. And then there's another concern that AI could be used in ways that are harmful or discriminatory. If these AI systems are trained on data that's biased, they can actually make those biases worse, which would lead to unfair and discriminatory outcomes.
That's a really serious issue. How can we prevent that from happening?
We have to be very, very careful about the data we use to train these AI systems. It needs to be diverse, representative, and free from harmful biases. And we also need to develop ways to audit AI systems to make sure we can detect and correct any biases. We need to hold those developers accountable for creating systems that are fair and ethical.
So we have to be proactive and put safeguards in place as we're developing and using AI.
Absolutely. And finally, there's this bigger, broader concern. Some people worry that AI could become so powerful that it actually poses a threat to humanity. It might sound like science fiction, but it's important to have these conversations now and think about the long-term implications of this technology.
So it's about making sure we're in control of AI and that we're using it for good.
Yeah.
We don't want AI to end up controlling us.
Right. We need to be open and honest about the potential risks of AI, and we need to develop ethical guidelines and regulations that ensure it's developed and used responsibly.
This has been a really eye-opening discussion. It's clear that AI has the potential to change our world in countless ways, but we also have to be aware of the potential risks and work hard to prevent them. Any final thoughts on this before we move on?
I think it's important to always remember that AI is, at its core, a tool. It's up to us as humans to decide how we use it. We can choose to shape the future of AI and make sure that it's used to make the world a better place for everyone.
I like that. Well said. Okay, so now that we've explored the potential of AI and talked about some of the challenges, let's go back to the original excerpt you shared with me. You mentioned that it talks about how AI is changing business strategy. Can you tell me more about that? How are companies actually using AI to, develop and execute their strategic plans?
Sure. One of the biggest ways AI is impacting business strategy is by helping companies make decisions that are based on data. We've talked about this a bit already, but it's worth emphasizing how much of a difference this is making when it comes to strategic planning. In the past, a lot of those strategic decisions were based on intuition, experience, or just the limited amount of data. But now, with AI, companies can look at tons of data from all sorts of sources, and they can find patterns, trends, and insights that they never would have seen before.
So it's about moving away from just going with your gut and towards using data to make those decisions.
Exactly. AI can help companies find new opportunities in the market, assess what their competitors are doing, make sure they're allocating their resources in the best possible way, and develop, better marketing and sales strategies. And all of this is based on data analysis.
So AI is giving companies this, a much clearer and more complete picture of what's going on in the business world.
That's right. And this isn't just about making better decisions, it's also about making those decisions faster. In the business world today, things move so fast, so being able to adapt quickly is super important. AI helps companies analyze data in real time, see those trends as they're emerging, and change their strategies quickly to stay ahead of the game.
So AI isn't just making companies smarter, it's making them faster too.
Precisely. AI allows companies to move at the speed of data, which is absolutely essential if you want to be successful in today's world, which is so competitive and always changing.
This is incredible. It sounds like AI is becoming something that every company needs to have if they want to do their strategic planning right. Do you have any specific examples of how companies are using AI to develop and execute their strategies?
Sure. One example is using those AI-powered market research platforms. These platforms can analyze huge amounts of data from places like social media, online forums, customer reviews, you name it. And then they can provide companies with really detailed insights into what customers are thinking and feeling, what trends are happening in the market, and what their competitors are up to.
So it's like having this huge team of market researchers who are working 24/7 to gather and analyze all this data.
Exactly. And these platforms can help companies figure out what needs customers have that aren't being met, understand what's going on with their competitors, and come up with better strategies for marketing and developing new products.
It sounds like AI is taking market research to a whole new level. What other examples can you think of?
Well, there's also something called scenario planning. AI algorithms can actually simulate different business situations. Like they can simulate what would happen if customer demand changes, or if a competitor takes a certain action, or if the economy changes. This lets companies figure out the potential impact of those situations and develop plans to deal with them.
So it's almost like AI is giving companies a crystal ball so they can see into the future and be prepared for anything.
That's a great way to put it. AI-powered scenario planning can really help companies make better decisions about investments, product development, and expanding into new markets. And all of this can help reduce risks and make them more successful.
This is really amazing. It sounds like AI is completely changing how companies approach strategic planning and giving them the tools and the insights they need to make better, faster, and more informed decisions. But as with any powerful tool, it's really important to use it in a responsible and ethical way.
Absolutely. Using AI responsibly and ethically is super important, especially when it comes to making those big strategic decisions. Those decisions can have a huge impact on businesses, individuals, and even society as a whole.
Well, this has been an absolutely amazing deep dive into the world of AI-powered strategic models. We've covered so much, from the basic parts to the potential benefits, challenges, and even those ethical considerations. It's clear that AI is already changing how businesses work, and its influence is only going to grow in the future.
I completely agree. AI is truly a game changer. It has the power to reshape industries, change the way we work, and even help us solve some of the biggest problems facing our world.
Okay, we're almost at the end of this episode of the Deep Dive, but before we go, I want to leave our listeners with something to think about. We've talked a lot about all the incredible potential of AI, but we also have to keep in mind those potential risks. So here's the question. What are the ethical implications of relying so much on AI for those really big strategic decisions? It's definitely a question we're thinking about as we enter this new era of AI.
It's a really important question. As AI becomes more and more integrated into our lives, we need to have those thoughtful conversations about the ethics of it all. And we need to work together to make sure that how we develop and use AI aligns with human values and that it's used in a way that benefits everyone.
That's a great point. Thank you so much for sharing all these incredible insights with us today. This deep dive has been a truly amazing journey into the world of AI-powered strategic models.
It's been a pleasure being here.
And to our listeners, thanks for joining us for this fascinating deep dive into the world of AI. We'll be back soon with more amazing topics to explore. Until then, keep those minds curious and keep exploring the world around you. You know, it's amazing when you think about it, how much of an impact AI could have. We've mostly talked about businesses, but it seems like AI is going way beyond just companies.
Oh, definitely. AI can be used for so many things. We're already seeing it in healthcare,
Yeah.
diagnosing diseases, developing treatments, even personalizing patient care. And in education, AI is being used to personalize how people learn, give students instant feedback, and even automate all those administrative tasks, the stuff that teachers don't really want to be doing anyway.
That makes a lot of sense.
And then in transportation, AI is powering those self-driving cars, making traffic flow better, and even helping to prevent accidents.
It's kind of mind-blowing when you think about it, how AI is like touching pretty much every part of our lives. It feels like we're at the very beginning of something huge, like a whole new technological revolution.
Yeah, it really does.
But with all this talk about, how AI is going to change everything, it's easy to forget that technology is just a tool. It can be used for good things or for bad things.
That's a really important point. As AI becomes more powerful and it's everywhere, we have to make sure we're using it the right way, ethically. We can't forget about the risks and those unintended consequences, and we have to work hard to minimize those.
So it's not just about making, like, the coolest new AI gadgets, right? We have to make sure that AI is actually helping people and making the world a better place.
Exactly. AI should be used to solve problems, to improve people's lives, and to make society more fair and just for everyone.
I like that. So what are some of the things we need to be thinking about to make sure that AI is developed and used in a responsible and ethical way?
Well, fairness is super important. We need to make sure that AI systems aren't biased against certain groups. That means being very careful about the data that's used to train these systems. And it also means making sure that the algorithms themselves are fair and don't have any built-in biases.
That makes sense. We don't want AI to, keep those existing inequalities going or even make them worse.
Right.
What else should we be thinking about?
Another really important thing is transparency. As AI systems get more complicated, it can be hard to understand how they're actually making decisions. And that lack of transparency can lead to people not trusting AI and make it really difficult to, hold those systems accountable when something goes wrong.
So it's like this black box, right? We put data in, We get results out, but we have no idea what's going on inside.
Yeah, exactly. So we need to build AI systems that can explain themselves, where we can actually see the logic behind how they make decisions. And that will help build trust and make sure that AI is being used in a way that, aligns with human values.
Okay, transparency and accountability.
Got it.
What other ethical considerations are there?
Well, privacy is a big one. AI systems often need tons of personal data to work. And we have to be super careful about how that data is collected, how it's stored, and how it's used. People's privacy needs to be protected, and we can't let that data be used in ways that they wouldn't agree to.
So it's a balancing act, right?
Yeah.
We want to make the most of AI's potential, but we also need to protect those basic human rights.
That's right. We need to find that balance between pushing the boundaries of what's possible with AI and being responsible, making sure it's used to benefit everyone while still respecting individual rights and freedoms.
Those are some really important things to think about. What can we actually do to make sure AI is developed and used in a responsible way?
Well, it's a complex issue. It needs everyone to work together. Researchers, developers, policymakers, even just regular people need to be involved. We need more research on the ethics of AI. We need clear guidelines and regulations for how AI is developed. And we need to have open and honest discussions with the public about AI, about its potential and its risks.
So it's not just about the tech itself, right? It's about the values and the principles that guide how that tech is made and used.
Exactly. We need to make sure that how we use AI is aligned with human values. We need to use it to build a world that's fairer, more just, and sustainable for everyone.
Wow. This conversation has been so insightful. I feel like I've learned so much, not just about the technical side of AI, but also about the ethical side, which is just as important. Any last thoughts before we wrap up this deep dive?
As we're moving into this new era of AI, it's important to remember that we have the power to decide what it looks like. We can choose to embrace those opportunities AI brings while also being aware of the challenges. And we can work together to create a future where AI actually empowers people and makes our lives better.
That's a great way to put it. A huge thank you to our AI expert for taking us on this incredible journey through the world of AI-powered strategic models. It's been a truly fascinating and thought-provoking conversation.
It's been my pleasure.
And to our listeners, thank you for joining us for this deep dive into the world of AI. We hope you enjoyed exploring this amazing technology with us. Until next time, stay curious.